Hey there fellow music collectors, huge amount of stuff. I've been collecting stuff and just been sort of like, oh, I'll leave it till next week, we'll leave it till next week. Anyway, first of all we have National Anthems of the World, these are records. Band of the General Guard. Now, I like national anthems because they are actually quite unique. And when I saw this one I had to have it. So there's the USA, Australia, USSR, which is rather interesting, Switzerland, France, Canada, Great Britain, Germany, so all really good stuff on there, and it's done by a marching band as well, which is quite nice. Next we have John Sebastian Bach on a very nice big record. This is all paper as well, it's not like the usual one. This is actually a big gatefold, because it folds out and then folds out again to hold the record. Unfortunately though, it is in German, I think, because, yeah, most of it, yeah. Moscovich's Studios der Deutschen Grammophik, something or other, which basically means gramophone. I'm putting stuff there because it's easier. Pachelbel Organ Works by Peter Herford. This is in the organ of Knox Grammar School Chapel, which I think is in Australia, if I remember correctly. Well, I think it's in Australia, I'm not 100% on that. Next we have Raymond Froggatt. I have no idea about this, I just purely brought it because of the art. It is a single but in a gatefold album. And the inside, just make sure I don't grab the record. There it is. I have no idea what it sounds like, I just grabbed it because it was a nice album cover, and I like album covers like that. Next we have Chuck Berry, I'm a Rocker. This actually has, this has got no sleeve in it, so it's literally just the record. I will find a sleeve, don't worry. This is probably one of his records that nobody really cared about, because there's nothing really like the usual, like Johnny B. Good, Lucille, or stuff like that. It is literally just sort of like a couple of records. And there's a rather surprised picture of him on the back. Record fair for 99p. Oh, and also as well, it still has the original protective plastic on it as well. So it's in a sleeve, and it still has the plastic from back in the day when it was new. Don't worry, I will come on to that later. Next we have Judas Priest, British Steel. Yep, found yet another Judas Priest British Steel album. If you're wondering what this is how razors used to look back in the old days, when you had sort of like the proper like screw-on jobs, which are quite good. Next we have Harpsichord Lollipops. This is literally just harpsichord on quite an old record as well. I think this is like a proper like 1960s record, so don't know how that's going to react to being played on a Crosley, but seems to be okay. Next we have Great Organ Masterpieces. This is Canterbury Cathedral, Alan Wicks, another organ album. And the next one coming up is actually quite special. I already have done this Pink Floyd album, but I recently brought a record that had a double in it, and I didn't realise it had this in it. Yeah, an original Pink Floyd sticker, and that is rather unique. So I've stuck my Wish You Were Here album, which does play but does trip unfortunately, in there, and I will be putting the Works album with that, because my the Wall album already has a double, already has a protective sleeve. Next we have Mud, Use Your Imagination. I don't often see Mud albums. I know they had a Christmas #1 ages ago, which usually gets played at Christmas, but yeah, it's kind of unique in a protective sleeve, so yeah, really nice to get. Next we have Golden Age Hollywood Comedy, Laurel and Hardy. This is what that Pink Floyd one was in. And like I say, I'm not that big a fan of Laurel and Hardy, but I mean, I do like them. It's just a case of I'm more sort of like slapstick of the era, and I only really like the slapstick era, that sort of thing. I say it's always nice to find that sort of stuff though. Next, a recital of Bach organ music, and this is just organ. Sometimes recital means sort of like other instruments, or orchestrial in French or something like that. But yeah, this is another old album. It's on a paper, which is really cool. Next we have E. Power Briggs, European Organs, The Art of the Organ, Volume 1. Very nice one to get indeed. Very nice indeed. Much later one, that one. Bill Sykes, 89 key Gallavoni Fair Organ, Volume 2. I did not have this one. I had to have it. There's a bit of damage at the bottom here. Looks like it's been water damaged or something, but either way, it still plays. It should still work. Going West, country music at its best. Oh yes, I love country music, so of course this is what I'm having. Most of what is up there is pretty much country music. I have like basically that much, yeah, probably about that much of country, and then like about 4 or 5 box sets. Next we have Hers Melody, which is a foreign record, still sealed. I had to grab this. It is still sealed. In America, this is probably common. UK, it is very rare to find a record that is still sealed. That has not been opened. Look, see? That is all sealed. Has the original price tag of $7.95 whatever, which is probably something German. Apparently, yes, it is a German record. Next, we have the Mercury Nashville Package of Country Hits Volume 2. This has Jerry Lee Lewis, Farron Young, Tom T. Hall, and the Stalker Brothers. Those other two I haven't heard of, but Farron Young and Jerry Lee Lewis. Jerry Lee Lewis was country before rock and roll, and then after rock and roll in the 60s he was country. Kind of mixed, really. Bath's Mystical Heritage, Volume 1, 18th Century Keyboard Music. And this is another harpsichord album. I do like my harpsichord. Don't know how to play one, but either way, still cool to get. We're only a little bit way through. Next we have J.S. Bach. Oh no, these ones I have actually shown. Oh no, I haven't. No, whoops. I'm getting confused here because I've got a load by this blooming E-Power Briggs stuff. But yep, there's another organ one. And the Mercus Organ in Ludwig Cathedral, which is in Germany. Another E-Power Briggs plays Mozart. Just Mozart organ stuff. Now the problem is with Mozart, he was mostly sort of like organ and concerto, or sort of like organ, flute, horn and stuff like that, which I don't like. Hawaiian Nights, the Waikato Islanders. Another great album by them to grab. Country Greats, yes, another Country Greats album. A lot of older stuff on there as well, but there's even older stuff. Bird Sounds in close-up with the original manuscript inside, like the piece of paper. And then finally, selected organ works from Bach, which is very nice indeed. That's all the records. Now we move on to the pile of CDs we have here. First of all, we have Kenny Rogers and the first edition, Country Gold. This is much later Kenny Rogers, but I like Kenny Rogers, so yeah, I had to buy that, of course. Next we have Wakalundia. This is Native American Indian music. Had to grab this one because I do like my Indian music, all those chants and stuff. Speaking of that, we have Global Journey, Ghost Dancers. These came from different charity shops. Next we have South Park Bigger, Longer and Uncut, the actual CD. I don't have this on cassette. If I'd found this on cassette, I would have said, oh yeah, brilliant. I now have it on CD, which is slightly better. I do have Chef Aid on CD as well. That was one of my first South Park albums I ever bought, because I remember buying that. Next we have Country Greats box set. But this is like really, really old country. This is like proper 1930s, 1940s, early 50s stuff, when sort of like that was really popular. Next we have Johnny Cash, American V, 100 Highways. This is 2000, 2002-esque sort of stuff, when he was in his last sort of like years, but recording really dark, deep stuff, which is really good. Global Journeys, Wolf Spirit. These came from my local charity shop that I go to and volunteer regularly. Nice to get that one. Organ of St Paul's Cathedral on CD. Absolutely brilliant to get that one. Next we have the Highwaymen CD3 and CD2, and they are both the same, so there's both of them. I think what happens is the box set comes in and one of the CDs is either scratched or missing, and they just sell them as singles rather than throw the whole lot away. Next we have The Who, Who's Next. This is a really good album, and that is really cool. Nice to get that one. Next, I'm sorry, this had to come home with me, even if I did have to pay full price for it. Yes, the best of Motorhead, All the Aces, which includes the CNN remix of Ace of Spades, which I've never heard of. I think that's like a they did a like remix version, which is horrible. Iron Maiden, a real live one. Now I do already have this one, but it's actually a double album. This is just a single. And then finally for the CDs we have Indian meditation music. I am very strange, but I do like this sort of music. Anyway, moving swiftly on to cassettes. First of all, we have The Goon Shows Volume 3, double cassette. There was another Goon Shows sealed, though. It was all sealed up, and I thought, oh, I'm not buying that, because I don't like sealed stuff. Next, we have box set Elvis Presley Greatest Hits. This has all 4 of his stuff on it, so the early stuff, middle era stuff, and then late 70s when he was starting to go a bit chubby and a bit fatter and looking a bit larger and sweating a lot on stage. And also as a bonus disc, Elvis live at the movies. Elvis at the movies. Right, next we have Rory Gallagher. Never heard of this guy. I know I've already got a cassette on him, but I haven't had a chance to listen to that yet. Peter Frampton, I'm In You. Peter Frampton, of course, was friends with Meat Loaf until they had a falling out, but his music is good as well. Johnny Guitar Watson, Hot Little Mama. Never heard of it, but it looks pretty cool, so I shall have fun with that. Dave Manson, I've never heard of this guy, but I think I've heard of him. I know he was probably in a band or something, but either way, that's it. And then finally, Country Road. With this one, there was 2 others that I mentioned, or there was 2. There was a Johnny Cash and Grease. Grease was a bit expensive, and I already have it on record. The Johnny Cash one, they wanted £9.99 for it. No chance, not on a cassette. If it was like 99p, I probably would have brought it. But anyway, that is the entire lot, and that was a lot to get through. No videos, no more cassettes, no more CDs. Thank you very much for watching. Again, I love the fact that I found a sealed record, and I found so much CDs. I'm going to have a lot to listen to for the next, good 30-40 years, depending. See you next time.